Today we are going to be presenting to you the Boomerang Glitch in the gun bunch tight end. The Boomerang Glitch, which you can use out of this formation, and I presume other formations in Madden 26 that have this type of auto motion, allows you to access a completely different set of hot routes for the auto motion player. So let's go ahead and take the field here. And while we do this, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell, grab out your pen and pad, because you guys can create some crazy route combos that beat both man and zone with this trick. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start off just with a generic drop zone. We'll play a little cover 4 here, and I'll show you the types of routes that you guys can unlock. For this to work, you have to understand what this boomerang is. The first thing with this bunch tight end that you're going to want to do is get rid of the running back route. There is a needless double motion where the running back kind of offsets, then comes back and sets, and then a second player goes into motion. Now, here's the thing. When the ball is snapped on this, you know CeeDee Lamb is in the backfield. Because of this, the game views him and his route tree as a running back hot route tree. Now, here's what this means. If I pull up the hot routes for CeeDee Lamb, who is our second motion player, you'll see that his entire hot route tree is filled with wide receiver routes, namely the slot receiver routes. But if I were to flip this formation, the player that is going to be the boomerang player will become Amari Cooper when the bunch goes to the other side. So you're gonna see here, I'll let this set. You'll see that the bunch basically inverts. Now the inside guy is Amari Cooper. So in other words, you come out with your bunch and you're going to flip it. And you have to understand that the guy, when you flip it, that is going to become the new inside receiver in your bunch is the boomerang guy. So what you're going to do with this is while you are flipping the formation, you can pull up the hot routes for this particular player. And you see that my tree is running back hot routes. Namely, you're going to get ins, outs, curls, regular streaks. Those are standard hot routes you could put on anybody, to be honest with you. But you'll also notice that we have block and release, pass protection, so you guys can get some interesting pass pro out of this receiver if you wanted to. But then you have the rest of the routes being the running back tree. So you have swing routes to the left and right, flat route, which is more of like a table pattern. And then you have the running back versions of the wheel route, the post route, the corner route, and the Texas route. So when you guys do this, you can basically unlock those routes. Now, what you want to do here is while they're motioning, I'm going to pull up the new inside guy. You see here that if I put him on this route here, that is what a table route looks like. It's basically like a shallow cross that kind of climbs the field for, you know, a little bit of depth after looking like it's a drag initially. This is actually kind of a dope little concept because you could build kind of like following concepts off of this. So like, let's say for instance, I wanted to run maybe Cooper on a drag that climbs the field and then CeeDee Lamb on a return that comes in behind him. This is neat because again, he kind of runs a drag and then he's up into this pocket of turf right here and just climbs for elevation as he gets down the field. Now, if you're enjoying this trick, again, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, but also open up another tab and check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. Over on Gridiron, I have my full Minnesota Vikings offensive game plan, which has a full bunch tight end, as well as tight Y off week, and an ace game plan that you guys can all jump in between. You could dominate games from one formation. You could clock games, finish drives, short yardage, RPO stuff, so many different tricks and tips in that. On top of that, you guys unlock every other game plan on the website. I have my match coverage Bible. I have my Miami Dolphins, which is my nickel wide and nickel over defense. And we have over 200 tips in our vault between college football and Madden on the website. Archive lab sessions from our Discord every week. Make sure you guys hop in our Discord and say hello, link in the description. So let's keep it moving here with this little boomerang glitch, if you will. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna flip this formation now, again, targeting Amari Cooper. Let's take a look at what the shape of some of these other routes look like. This time we're gonna run a running back post route. You're gonna see that this turns into a C route, which is actually pretty dope because what we could do with this is really stretch the field. So I can basically roll out, utilize Y and B to pull the zone, and then throw this little C route in behind into this pocket. This is such a great little trick that allows you to kind of throw the ball into a tender area of zone. So that's what the post route looks like. Now let's take a look at what the corner route looks like. The corner route is very similar to the table route, but it works a little bit more up the field faster. So if you were to kind of imagine if I were to do like a horizontal stretch here, maybe do something like, for instance, this, I could kind of have the ability to have a curl route or return route, and then Cooper, again, still working his way up the field. You would still need to make sure that you had something pulling vertically for this, so I would probably recommend a tight end streak. But this route can do some things in terms of its shape that other routes don't. Again, kind of looks like a shallow cross, then cuts up the field. If the user is overplaying it, you might have that throw in between the hash marks. If not, just let it continue to climb, and it's still a pretty solid call. Again, I would probably rock something like this off of this. So again, look at A pulling vertically, and then again, you just have this little throw into that window. Again, I was a little bit rushed by the pass rush there, but you see that it opens up in zone pretty well. Now, again, we do have other routes that we can place on this as well. Here's what the wheel route looks like. This is more of what a playmaker drag truly looks like on this. So again, you're going to be in one of those spots here where you could probably go ahead and just let this route really go up the field. Again, this is going to target bad users against the AI. You know, obviously the hook zones tend to drop with it, but with the user kind of hanging out underneath, defending whips and things like that, this is a good route to kind of manipulate the middle of the field. And then of course we have the other routes that you guys can utilize. We have the block and release. Now, the block and release, kind of interesting. You know, I'm not a huge fan of it because it releases over the middle. It's more like a block and release drag than a flat. I don't use this one a whole hell of a lot, but he will just kind of drop to the inside, get a little bit of a chip, and then bang, he's going to release. And, you know, if you could shovel it off, great. But again, kind of jumps into the line just a little bit more than I would like. So again, you see right here, it's okay. You know, nothing crazy to write home about, but, you know, occasionally could be kind of cool to just give you a little bit of help on the edge. And then, you know, you're kind of rolling out, and then, you know, it's just there, you know, it's just a little dump off. Again, it runs into a weird spot on the field. I probably wouldn't use it. Now, what you could use for this though, is the blocking assignment. You could put this guy on an actual hard-coded block, and this is going to help you guys with rolling out. Really good trick here for the purpose of rolling out. He's going to help you get that seal, or at least give you somebody that, you know, if those guys are able to, you know, shed while you're rolling out, just gives you another guy that can kind of just crack down on that edge rusher. So a lot of times I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, you think you've got the ability to roll out, maybe they're containing, or the guy that's on the edge rushing assignment sheds off of the double team as soon as you go to roll, kind of what Fridge does here. This just gives you a guy that's there to just be in the way and pick. And now you've got him reblocked. Now you're out to the perimeter pretty easily and can, you know, scramble quite effectively with this. So that's a pretty cool trick as well. In terms of the other routes that you guys have, maybe one other we could talk about, there is the triple option route. What I like about the triple option route is that it basically just sits down against zone and it beats man. So it's, you know, again, against zone, it's going to be better against like a user in the middle of the field. I do think this is a really interesting route that you could use against man-to-man, however. So in this example, I will go ahead and play a Overstorm Brave Blitz. So we flip it, and I put the Boomerang guy on the right stick down hot route. And then from there, it's all about just blocking the blitz. So right here, we'll just set up a 6-man protection. And then you're going to see right here against the man-to-man, he's going to basically run that in route. So I was just trying to buy time. You see that it does fry over the middle. I would definitely make sure that you give yourself other options for this. That way you can throw the ball hot. You know, again, I think that, you know, it's an absolutely fine route to throw. Just make sure that you are giving yourself the time that you need. You see right here, I mean, look at X. I mean, definitely wide open. So set up the rest of your route combination accordingly for the types of coverage that you're facing. Obviously, if they're playing like cover one with a 4-man rush or 2-man under, this is going to be a great route for beating man-to-man as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Oh, one more before I forget. We do have the Texas route. So up on the D-pad is kind of like a Texas route. It's actually going to work more like a corner route. If you want to motion it, it does still flip. So you can kind of get it to be like an angle route as well. This is a pretty neat little trick. Again, you see how it wins. Again, make sure you're picking up your pressure here in this particular regard. But again, some of these routes do take a little bit more time to develop, which is funny because a lot of these running back routes are so heavily relied on as check down routes. But when they're run as receivers, it's more like you're waiting on it to develop type of thing. So you could run this route as it breaks over the middle if you want to motion it, or run it like a corner pattern, or you can leave it like this. Again, it's up to you. Just make sure that you're obviously picking up the pressure. It is a good man beater. So just make sure that you guys are doing a good job at picking up your pressure if your opponent is zero blitzing you. There's so many other different ways that you guys can pick up the pressure in this game. Right here, we're just facing a 6-man pressure. So I'll go ahead and block the running back, have him scan over to that side. And then again, you saw right there, still getting shed by some of the pass rushing stacks I have on my defense. But you see how open these routes all are against man and zone. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure that you guys go check out the rest of the offense on gridirongameplans.gg. I'm up out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.